Kawhi Leonard played this good. If you look at Kawhi, there's not a stretch in playoffs, even if you go back to Toronto or San Antonio, where he's played this good.
Agreed.
The way he's playing now.
Never seen this Kawhi.
And then Paul George has been spectacular along with him. And then they got key contributions, Skip. If you remember, I think it was Friday when they played, Marcus Morris hit 3 threes in the fourth quarter in that corner three.
It was huge.
Because every time they get
huge.
It was huge.
And he hadn't hit a squat until then.
He hadn't hit anything.
And he hadn't hit squats since then, but go ahead.
And then Reggie Jackson played well for him on Friday night. But Skip, then you look, Reggie Jackson comes back again and plays well. Nicholas Batum, who they inserted into the starting lineup because they said, why are we playing Zoobs? Because we know he's going to play hard, but Luka is searching him out. He's really trying to put him in that high pick and roll and wanting to go one-on-one with him. So you know what? Let's start Batum because they don't have anybody that really wants to post the ball. Porzingis is 7'3". He got Batum playing behind him. He got Paul George, Kawhi, and he's out there 20 feet from the basket. Man, if you don't get your skinny butt down, Skip, but I get it. If you don't want to be Joel Embiid or you want to be Jokic, but get 10 feet and just turn around and shoot over the top of him. But he's 7'3" and want to be a point guard. Bruh, what's going on? And Rick Carlisle probably like, Lord have mercy, what are we doing here? And you can tell something's wrong, Skip. I agree with you. Luka isn't the greatest free throw shooter.
Duh.
But Skip, there's no way somebody can shoot better from the three-point line than they can the free throw line. You look at, his free throws last night, Skip, they weren't even close to going in. I'm like, Luka. I said, how about this? How about you back up to the three-point line to shoot the free throws?
Quick story. I'm watching with my wife, Ernestine, who's really gotten into basketball, and she turned to me in the fourth quarter and said, hack a Jordan. And I said, hack a Jordan. And she's saying, like, hack a Luka. You should start fouling him, put him on the line.
You should.
This is Luka Doncic. And I said, you know what? Maybe you're right.
And Skip, he was spectacular Friday night. 15 of 28, but 7 of 13. How do you, Skip, he's 7 of 13 from the three. He's 7 of 13 from the free throw line.
Never, ever, ever seen it before.
Give the Clippers credit. Ty Lue said, look, there's no way, because the difference in the two, the only thing that's different, Skip, the shots that the Clippers missed the first two games, they're making. The shots that the Mavs made the first two games, they're missing. They're still right there. Luka is still hitting Hardaway Jr. He's still hitting Finney-Smith, Kleber. Now, I think they made a trade for Finney-Smith between 2 and 3 because he got to be playing with the Clippers the way he shoot the ball. Ain't no way he on the Mavs side shooting like that, considering what he did the first couple of games. But that's it. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and then they got, Reggie Jackson chipped in. They got Marcus Morris, Sr. chipped in, but it was the two big guns. And I asked him after they lost the first game and they scored 69, I said, can they continue to play that way? Yep, they could continue to play that way. Now, they didn't need the 60 points that they only got 45 last night. They didn't need what they normally got. But Paul George and Kawhi, especially Kawhi, has been spectacular.
My turn. Obviously, on Friday's show, I completely wrote off my Clippers because everybody on this show wrote off the Clippers because they should have been written off. And if I could say that I did my small part to slap them in the face and say, wake up, who are you, and how shameful can you play?
They were shameful.
Maybe it helped a little bit to just completely write them off. Yet, I got to tell you, in all my years watching the National Basketball Association and playoff games, dating all the way back to 1976 when I started to cover the Lakers here for the LA Times in Los Angeles, where we sit, I've never, ever seen a stranger, more bizarre, more surreal game than Friday night's game.
Oh, yeah.
I am still shell-shocked from Friday night's game, which I cannot figure out. And apparently last night, the Mavericks were still shell-shocked from what happened to them on Friday night. Because back to your point, Luka was mostly spectacular on Friday night. Am I right?
Yes.
I look at these numbers. He's 44 points,
9 and 9.
15 of 28, 9 and 9. Okay. Here's the point. On Friday night at home before a crazed sellout post-pandemic crowd in Dallas, featuring Michael Irvin and Dak Prescott, the home team Dallas Mavericks hit 23s, 20 of 39. So I checked on that this morning, 20 of 39. In the history of pro basketball, the history of the NBA, Never in a playoff game has a home team made 20 or more threes and lost the game.
Yep.
It cannot happen, but it did. And I can't quite make the box score compute because I'm still not sure how it happened. Because I'm going to remind you, early in the game, with 4:28 left in the first quarter, it's 30-11 Dallas. And Mark Cuban's up there in the stands going, we got this. And Steve Ballmer, they keep little cutaways to Steve Ballmer over on the baseline. I think he's about to explode, walk across the floor, and fire Ty Lue on the spot. Because he's got to fire somebody because he wants answers, right? 30-11?
He keeps dropping his head. He's like, I can't watch.
I wish I had a little Shannon cam at that point up in his palatial estate up in Bel Air, because I would like to have seen your face or whatever you were doing at that point. What were you dancing? Were you on the top of the table?
I just fired out a simple tweet. I was like, are the Clippers going to guard anybody? Yay or nay? Because they won't guard anybody.
Good question. Good question.
But I think
so. Guess what happened? Kawhi Leonard comes down and makes a 10-foot jumper.
Oh, my goodness.
Then they take Luka for his usual rest. It wasn't forced rest. It was just like he usually rests for the last 3 minutes.
Turning point of the ball game.
The last 3 minutes of the quarter.
Turning point of the ball game, Skip.
And Paul George went down and hit another one. Then Kawhi went down and hit another one. And all of a sudden, I look up at the end of the quarter, and it's only 34-31. And I think, how are they still in this game? But they were in this game. And from that point on, would you believe from that moment with 4:28 left in the first quarter until right now, the Clippers have outscored the Mavericks in Dallas by 54 points. Help me out. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
213 to 159.
What? It's impossible. and I still look at the box score, and the only thing I can tell you, the only thing I can figure out is that finally Kawhi and Paul George from 2 were able to outscore Luka from a lot of 3.
Yes.
Because it was 65-44, 2-on-1.
Right.
And that's the only thing I can tell you from this box score that allowed the Clippers to finally take over.
Right.
And then to your point, you want to talk about timely shooting? Marcus Morris out of the same short corner across right in front of the Mavericks bench. He makes all 3 of them. And I'm falling on the floor. I'm rolling on the floor because I could not believe that they finally survived and won a game. And again, I want Ty to play Rondo more, and he played very well, but he wasn't the reason.
No.
The reason was this reason. I'm going to go deep now. I'm going to go Freudian here. I'm going to go Dr. Phil here.
Okay.
On Luka. I believe that the Los Angeles Clippers finally got sick and tired of Luka laughing at them. He literally, at Staples in games 1 and 2, he goes up the floor chuckling. I did it again. Can you believe it? I did it again. He's trash talking. You can't guard me. You're too small. Big Zoo. You can't guard me. And then he's laughing. Ha, 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 ha.
He started in game 3, too.
Hey, and he started out. Not in my house. Not in my house. Here he goes, and they made their first, it seemed like 5 shots. Heck, they made their first 3 last night, but it didn't matter. But the point was, deep down, I do think the Clippers have some toughness to them. I think Marcus Morris is tough.
Yeah.
I think Kawhi has toughness. Paul George, you can call him Pandemic P. The point is, he's got talent.
Oh, yeah.
And it suddenly manifests itself when you sort of least expect it, because last night in the second quarter, he suddenly goes on a burst and he scores 13 straight points, and that was basically the game.
End of the game.
And he didn't do anything the rest of the way. He scored 0 in the fourth quarter. So he hasn't been much except for a couple of bursts here and there that were crucial.
Right.
But in the end, I think they got sick and tired of Luka. And then this is just me, and I don't know how hurt anybody is. I always tell you, the biggest... The most perplexing development in all sports to me is how hurt is a superstar in a crucial moment. Well, I don't think Luka's the toughest guy. I've told you that. I'm talking about mentally and physically the toughest guy. So would you believe that Friday night they ran 8 different defenders? I've never seen that in my life. I counted them up. 8 players took turns on him, and I'm talking about legit turns where you're coming down and all of a sudden it's Kawhi, it's Paul George, it's Batum, it's Reggie Jackson, it's Rondo. I can just keep going right down there. Terrence Mann might have done the best job. They just...
Everybody took me crack at it.
I don't even know how you keep checking signals. Like, how do you got to communicate? Is it your turn? Are you going to take it?
Well, when you try to wear him down, Skip, because everybody's going to guard him differently.
Okay.
So now Luka's got to think, okay, I got Batum on me. Okay, he's going to play me this way. Not damn, it's Kawhi.